Welcome to the Chef's Kitchen Healthy Fine Dining Series. I'm your host, Nicole Gaffney, and we're here today at the Easton Public Market, along with St. Luke's University Health Network. We're joining together doctors and chefs to create healthy new menu options to be featured at their restaurants. Joining me in the kitchen today is Chef Mike Pichetto of 3rd and Ferry, along with Dr. John Wilson. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, yeah, of course. Now, what are we making today?
Today we'll be preparing a pan-roasted king salmon, potato gnocchi with a Puttanesca sauce.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Let's get started.
Okay, we're going to start with the gnocchi.
I love gnocchi.
So do I. It's it's actually one of my favorite things to make.
Is it?
Yeah. So a lot of people boil the potatoes. I find boiling the potatoes adds unnecessary moisture, which leads to unnecessary flour, which makes a heavy, heavy
gnocchi.
dough. Yeah. So with the skin on, I'll wrap them in foil and bake them. It's about 1.25 pounds of potatoes. And by doing that, I keep all the starch inside the potato and obviously don't introduce any more moisture to the potato.
Right. That's a great tip.
So, for the magic of television.
You have two already baked?
I have two already made.
Nice.
And peeled. So, when they come out, you'll let them sit a bit until they're warm enough to handle. You want to work with them while they're still warm.
Is that really important?
It is. It helps to, so we're using cheese in this as well, so it helps to kind of break that down a little bit.
Okay.
And it just helps mix the dough a little easier. So just with a paring knife, you're going to peel the skin off. If there's any brown bits, you're going to take that off as well.
Okay, so we want just like the pure flesh of the potato.
Yeah, just to get it as smooth as possible.
Okay.
And then
It even smells good already, doesn't
Yeah, it
it?
does.
It's just potatoes.
and then we're going to rice this.
Now explain what that means, to rice something.
To rice it, we're just going to force it through a sieve. They sell, you can get a ricer which does an individual potato, or you can do a food mill such as this, and you can do tomatoes in this. You can do fruit to get the seeds out. We're just going to get our potatoes in there.
And we are in the Easton Public Market too,
Yep.
so you might even hear the hustle and bustle of the market happening outside.
And then it's just, you let the machine do the work. We've been here since opening. And
when was that?
April 2016.
Okay, so it's a pretty new space.
Relatively new space. They did a great job, with the design of it. The vendors are fantastic. It's an outstanding addition to the town.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Great restaurant scene, great retail scene.
When does the market open?
Market opens on Wednesday. It goes through Sunday. There's some coffee breakfast spots that are open
Nice.
earlier, like 8, and then the majority of the market opens at 9 o'clock, closes
Okay.
at 7. So we have that riced in to our mixing bowl. To this, we have 1 2/3 cup of all-purpose flour.
Okay,
Nothing fancy, just regular flour.
all right.
And then a cup of Parmesan or Pecorino Romano. This is Pecorino. I like to put it into a food mill, not a food mill, a food processor, just to
Get it
grind
really
it up.
fine?
Yep. Just so you don't have lumps in the finished product. And then make a little well in the center. 2 eggs.
2 eggs, no extra yolks or anything,
Nope.
just standard eggs. Easy enough.
And then some fresh grated nutmeg.
Oh, that's the secret ingredient right
Yes,
there.
nutmeg with the pecorino goes really well together.
Nice.
The oils in this are fresh, so you get a much better flavor kick out of the fresh
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, I'm standing pretty far away
Yeah.
and it's really fragrant.
All right. Now to mix this, we have this mixer set up with a dough hook.
Okay,
So we're
come on
gonna
in closer.
get this on, and contrary to pasta, where you really can't knead it enough, gnocchi you don't want to knead too much.
Okay, so you want to keep it kind of light.
Yeah. If you knead it too much, you kind of beat the starch out of it, and it gets gummy. So with this, we want to work it as little as possible.
Have you ever made pasta or gnocchi before?
Have not.
No?
First
First time for
experience.
everything. Now, you're a doctor in emergency medicine at
That's
the
correct.
Anderson campus. Tell me a
Yes.
little bit about what you do there.
Well, emergency medicine truly is a good cross-section of medicine in general. We see every kind of complaint. We see every age group. Basically, we're there when your family physician isn't available
Right.
or can't provide the level of care you need. After hours, holidays, weekends, nights, we're there. And then when you're having a true emergency, we're there.
Right, that's real dedication on your part.
Absolutely. St. Luke's has really dedicated themselves to providing wonderful patient care there, and it shows when you show up on our campus. The facilities are top-notch. The technology that we have is top-notch. We partner with GE for the latest in radiology devices, and you'll really experience that if you come to our campus.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll return with more from the Chef's Kitchen with St. Luke's University Health Network. We now return to the Chef's Kitchen with St. Luke's University Health Network.
So the dough has just come together. You'll see that there's still veins of flour running through, so we didn't want to overmix it.
And that's,
so,
you want that?
Yep.
Okay.
So we're just we turn it out onto a board or a countertop and just knead it enough to get it mixed together well, and that's it. You don't have to let gnocchi dough rest like you do pasta. That's all done.
Perfect. And the dough looks like slightly on the drier side. Is that beneficial?
Yeah. So the drier your dough is, the lighter your gnocchi will be, the lighter your finished product will be.
That's a great tip.
So this just yields a nice light product.
Okay.
So we cut off a workable piece, and we're going to roll this into a rope, about 3/4 of an inch thick or so.
So you can make them bigger, smaller, depending on what you like.
Yeah, and then you roll them, and this is where there's a lot of different opinions on how to do this. Some people use a fork, some people use a table, prefer a gnocchi board. It's just a board with grooves cut in. It's a decorative thing. So we're going to cut off 1 inch by half inch or 3/4 of an inch. So what you're looking for is the flat side down at the end of the board, and then with your thumb, you're just going to press it into the board and roll it off. So you're left with a nice grooves on one side. I like a flat side on the other side, but then that little divot in the back,
that little thumbprint.
Yep, keeps it the thickness consistent throughout, which will help with even cooking.
Okay, great. All right, Doc, you want to give one a try?
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's simple enough.
If it does get a little sticky, there's some bench flour over here. Dry that off.
Okay. You're a pro.
Perfect. Along those lines.
Well, can you talk and do this at the same time? Because I want to ask you some more about St. Luke's.
I sure hope so. As emergency medicine physicians, you got to be able to multitask.
Exactly. Well, tell me about what they mean when they say patient-centric care at St. Luke's.
Well, whenever you go to a hospital or a physician's office, you expect excellent medical care.
Absolutely.
And certainly at St. Luke's, we want to provide excellent medical care. And if you come to us, you'll receive that. What you don't always get, or what you don't always expect, is to have a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
We want you to leave any encounter that you have with us saying, that was much better than we thought it was going to be. We want you to get to excellent medical care, but we also want you to have good communication.
Absolutely.
We want you to understand what we've done and what it's going to take to get better. And St. Luke's really stresses that.
Right, that's amazing.
Yeah, St. Luke's is very blessed to have the property that it has here in Easton, right off 33, 78, convenient to 22. It's really going to be a wonderful place for continued expansion of services.
Yeah, definitely, and especially when we're talking about emergency medicine, accessibility is especially important.
Absolutely.
All right, Chef, so what do we have next?
So we're going to build the sauce over here.
Okay.
Actually, if you want to give me a hand for a quick second.
No problem.
I have just these Kalamata olives. They just need to be...
Pitted?
Yep, just cut in half.
Okie doke.
Pitted.
I think I can handle it.
All right.
And I need to address the elephant in the room, or should I say the ginormous king salmon
The
that we have
ginormous
here?
king salmon. Yep.
Tell me about this.
This is a king salmon. It's from a farm in New Zealand. It's a sustainable farm, Ora King. They started raising king salmon or Chinook salmon in the mid-70s.
Wow.
They do a phenomenal job. It's a fantastic piece of fish.
And it's beautiful too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredibly fresh. You can see in the eye and the scales. It looks great.
So for the sauce, we have half a cup or so of extra virgin olive oil, and we're going to start with a couple of anchovy fillets.
I love anchovies.
So do I. And
very underappreciated.
they are, well...
I guess it depends who you ask.
True. I like anchovies at the bottom of a sauce. When I'm cooking, I like to layer my flavors.
Yep.
So anchovies at the bottom, which is what we're doing here, it won't really give a fish flavor to the sauce, but it'll impart a nice savoriness to the sauce.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
So you don't even know they're there necessarily.
No, you don't. They can go underneath anything. So these are all broken up and nicely browned. The capers that went in there are also starting to brown. We're going to add our garlic.
Now I'm starting to smell it.
Now you get the smells. And our onions. And we're just going to sweat them a little bit.
We'll return with more from the Chef's Kitchen with St. Luke's University Health Network. We now return to the Chef's Kitchen with St. Luke's University Health Network.
Now you're making a Puttanesca sauce? Is that what this
Puttanesca
is?
sauce, yeah. A couple of dry spices in there, some oregano, a little bit of crushed red pepper, and we're gonna sweat those onions down.
Nice, a lot of flavor happening here.
A little bit of cracked black pepper.
Nice.
A little salt.
So now tell me about 3rd and Ferry. This dish is going to be featured at
Yep.
the restaurant.
This is actually on the menu currently at 3rd and Ferry.
Fantastic.
Selling very well.
How often do you change the menu?
Try and change menus quarterly.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah.
And I like to get buy-in from my kitchen staff.
Okay.
So I have a very talented staff over at the restaurant. You know, they all come to the table with a lot of ideas. So, you know, for menu items, you know, I like to, you know, talk to them about their ideas and kind of, you know, like fit their ideas into my
Right.
box, I guess, is one way to say it.
So it's very collaborative.
Yes, it is.
I love that.
The building was a furniture store originally. So
Really?
The kitchen is a little bit of basil right
So
there.
it must be big.
It is about 200 seats.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a big restaurant.
220 in the summer with the patio. But the kitchen is up in what was the display windows for the furniture store. So
Okay.
the cooks are on display every night. You can.
But they love that.
It took them a while to get used
Yeah.
to, but they do.
Now, John, you're from Baltimore, right?
This is true.
So you must be a big seafood fan.
I do. I enjoy seafood,
Yeah?
especially crab.
Well,
Oh,
being
me
from
too.
Maryland, it's pretty much essential that you like crab.
Take the head off and then find that bone. Just gonna go right back towards the tail.
That must be a sharp knife you're cutting through all those bones.
It is.
And you butcher all of your own fish in-house.
Yes.
And you have the seafood market here
We do.
at the Easton Public Market as well.
We,
That's convenient.
It's a nice thing to have 2 blocks away from your seafood restaurant for
Definitely.
sure. We're gonna take these rib bones off.
Beautiful. You're doing a great job with that. Doctor, tell me about the amenities at St. Luke's Anderson campus.
Well, going back to that patient-centric philosophy, we definitely have put a lot of effort into the amenities because of that. Every room is private,
That's
especially on
huge.
the inpatient side. People like to call it Hotel Anderson. So that's what it feels like. You get a private room,
Right.
you have a robe, you have a room with a view, your private bathroom, all the things that make for just a much better patient experience.
So it doesn't feel quite like being in a hospital.
Right.
That's nice.
I can actually attest to that. I was recently a guest at Hotel
No!
Anderson at Hotel St. Luke's. Yes, shucking oysters comes with its
Yikes.
inherent dangers. But yeah, he's right. It was as far as hospital stays go, it was fantastic.
I've actually
Oh,
seen
that's
a
great.
number of local chefs in the emergency department. Speaking of sharp knives.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen your fair share of just about everything in the emergency department.
So now,
Pin bones.
the pin bones. Yep, we're gonna remove them.
Okay.
I have pliers to do this.
Now, do you cook this with the skin on, or are we going to take that off?
This I'll cook with the skin on. I
Nice.
mean, it would be a shame to waste this. There's so much
I agree.
flavor in it. So cooking salmon with the skin on. I mean, you can think of the skin on a salmon like an insulation from the heat.
Okay.
So we're going to cook this. The fancy term for it would be unilaterally. So it's going to
Wow.
be cooked almost all the way through on one side. What that'll do is it'll insulate the flesh of the fish from the heat, which will yield a moisture finished product.
Nice. And I'm imagining you're doing this skin side down.
Yes.
So you're also going to get a really crispy skin,
Yes.
too.
There's
which
some tricks to that as well.
I'm all about the crispy skin.
Oh my.
And the skin actually has the majority of the omega-3 fatty acids. I don't know if you're aware of that, but
It does.
big fan of the skin.
So to do this, to cook salmon with the skin and get it crispy and get it not to stick to the pan, you have a couple things. So you want to dry it very well.
Look how thick that fillet is. It's huge.
It really is. It's a beautiful piece of fish. The color is perfect.
Totally.
The fat content is lovely. So we're going to dry that off well,
So fresh, too.
and then we're going to season it. We're going to season the skin as well as the flesh because we'll be eating the skin as well. Just
And do you
some-
score it at all, or
No.
don't find a need?
Nope, not for this.
When would you want to score the skin of a fish?
I score the skin of the fish when I'm doing a whole fish. And
Oh, okay.
That's more to get down into the meat.
Seasonings
Yep,
and-
and it's not an even thing. So
Okay.
you're scoring the middle more. It does keep the skin flatter, but it also helps with even cooking.
Nice.
Kosher salt, more pepper.
That's a pretty generous amount of seasoning, too.
Yep. Well, the thicker the fillet that you're cooking, the more seasoning you want on the outside.
Makes sense.
We'll return with more from the Chef's Kitchen with St. Luke's University Health Network. We now return to the Chef's Kitchen with St. Luke's University Health Network.
So our pan is good and hot. For this, using clarified butter.
Okay.
It has a nice high smoke point, so we can get a better sear on what we're doing here.
Yeah. You eat a lot of salmon. You're into the healthy eating thing these days, right?
Yeah, it's a new interest of mine. I've
Yeah?
recently rededicated myself to my own personal health and experienced some weight loss and health benefits. And
That's great.
in doing so, you discover foods that you should have been eating all along,
For
and
sure.
fish is definitely one of them.
Nice. Well, it's great as a doctor to be leading by example.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
I want to start this very hot. So we're going to get the fish in, and we're going to hold it down for a
Okay.
couple of minutes. This will keep the skin in contact with the hot surface of the pan the entire time. It'll keep it flat, so we get that nice crispy skin all the way throughout.
That's a great tip. I think a lot of people would just throw their fish into the pan
Yep.
and walk away, and then it curls up, and then it doesn't cook evenly, and it causes all kinds of problems. So
That's not trying to curl up anymore.
Right.
You know, that's been seared. It's a little more relaxed.
now you lower the heat.
Lower
a
the
little.
heat a little bit, sure. You don't want to burn the skin. So I got the pan hot before I put the oil in. Really important for non-stick cooking. When the metal heats, it will swell naturally. And so when you put the oil into a hot pan, the oil will actually go into all those little micro pores that open up, and it'll make a more non-slip surface in the pan.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Very interesting. As opposed to if you started cold oil, cold
Yes.
pan.
It's cold oil, cold pan. You know, now now as the pan expands, now the oil is going to drain down into those holes, and you have just less of your nonstick surface, really.
That is a brilliant tip.
Yeah,
You learn something new every day.
never would have thought of that.
Me neither. I'm definitely taking that one home with me.
Science class.
All right, so while that's going, we're going to salt our water for the gnocchi pretty
Salt it
generously.
pretty generously.
Now, water's boiling. I'm going to get the gnocchi in. Doesn't take very long to cook at all.
About how many minutes?
2 minutes.
Oh wow, that is
Yep,
really
they'll
quick.
come right up to the top, and
Nice.
they'll be done.
Can you overcook gnocchi?
You can. I want to say I never have. But I do.
Never say never.
That's one thing I've never overcooked. I'll say that. All right. So the gnocchi is it's up to the top now. We're good to go. I'm going to strain that, and then we're going to saute a little bit with some spinach.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Olive oil again. John. All right. So our gnocchi's done. Little olive oil into the pan.
Again, hot pan.
Hot pan, hot oil. This actually is from one of the EPM vendors.
Oh, really?
Yep, olive with a twist.
Nice. They sell different olive oils.
Different olive oils. I got the calamatas from them as well.
Nice.
And then spinach. This is real simple. This is just a quick saute
Okay.
for the plate. We'll season that up. Flip our salmon. Now the salmon is pretty much cooked through, but you see the skin is flat, nice and crispy.
Well, Doc, I think your wife is in for a treat tonight. You can do this, right?
Sure.
Easy.
No problem. I don't know
Oh,
where
look
I'm
at
going to
that
get that
skin.
fish, though.
Maybe the
New
chef will let you
Zealand.
take some
New
home.
Zealand. You don't need reservation at the restaurant. I'll get you in.
I hear there's a
I know
great
guy.
fish market here at the Easton Public Market.
Yeah, I
There
think I
is.
might
Nice.
compromise.
All right, that's it. So we
Look
got
at that.
a little bit of color on the gnocchi, crisp up the outside just a bit, and we're ready to go to plate.
Great. We'll grab your plate.
Thank you. Okay. So the gnocchi down.
I love how they get a little like toasted on the bottom
Yeah,
too.
you get a little bit of texture on there.
Yeah, that's nice.
So we got our gnocchi down. Our fish is beautiful.
Do you cook it all the way through? Or do you
I
like it a little?
I like my salmon medium rare.
Me too.
Personally, perfect.
Yeah.
Fish down.
And you do skin side down.
Skin side down.
It's a beautiful looking
And then the
plate.
sauce.
It's not even finished yet.
So we're not saucing the pasta. We're more saucing the fish.
Okay. So you really don't even need the puttanesca here. This is like a great dish just on its own.
Great dish on its own.
And this is adding so much more flavor.
The puttanesca with the salmon is a nice
Yeah.
pairing.
I bet. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to taste it. How about you, Chef?
Absolutely.
Or Doctor.
Soon to be, chef.
Now chef. Now chef.
Tonight.
Definitely, Chef. Yum. This looks amazing. So I'm going to give you a knife and a fork. And you have to join us in eating also.
Oh.
And don't be shy. Let's
Fair
dig in.
enough. Go ahead.
You hear that skin?
Oh, yeah.
It's the best part. That salmon is so buttery.
Yeah, it really
It's
is a nice
really
butter.
good.
Wow. That's
You know,
delicious.
there's kind of a negative connotation with farm-raised salmon for a bunch of different reasons. But these guys, what they're doing, I mean, it's a sustainable farm. They really do a great job with their fish.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can tell in the final product.
And the gnocchi are great too.
Thank you.
I love the little texture on the outside.
I know what I'm ordering tonight. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Dr. Chef, wonderful having both of you on the show
Thank you for
today.
having us.
Please come
A lot of
back and
fun.
see us again.
Wonderful.